Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and today we are taking a look at the most recent 117 series from Old Forester. They're bottled in bond. This comes from spring of 2014, so at the time of release, that puts this at a 9-year bottled in bond product from Old Forester. Not only that though, with the heat cycle warehouses that we know that take place there, this is likely to have a lot more pow and a lot more flavor. And I was mainly kind of curious to see how this compares to a couple of the other favorites that I've had in the series so far. And I thought maybe you would be interested too. I know that some people think these 375s that continue to release are something that are maybe kind of difficult to keep up with and not necessarily knowing whether it's something they should chase. So I'll go ahead and preface. A couple of ones that I've liked so far have been the Whiskey Row Fire and the High Angel Share Batch 1. As well as the extra old and the extra old for different reasons. But I want to compare this bottled in bond to the High Angel Share and the Whiskey Row Fire and see what you can expect. While I have you here, jump down below, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, help me continue to grow the content here in 2023. Let's go ahead and get right on into here. Oh yeah. Oh man, that smells real good. Man, this nose is rich and buttery and balanced. Big brown sugar syrup-like notes. Fresh derby pie right out of the oven. Or a little bit of blackberry cobbler actually in there as well. And I don't know if you're a pie person or a cobbler person, but growing up here in Kentucky, my parents would make cobbler. My mom would make blackberry cobbler from fresh blackberries grown right in the backyard. You always kind of get into that gooey bottom of the fruit mixed with the pie, crust, sugar, whatever it is thing. And you can kind of notice that here on the nose. Amaretto, dried fruits. Honestly, the longer it sits open in the glass, let's look at some of the legs here. And as I know from previous tastings as well, as this opens up, you get more of the tobacco notes. You get more of the warm oak leather notes come out. The aged leather, cedar, and that brown sugar sweetness kind of grows into butterscotch. This is a really intoxicating nose. Real excited about this one. Cheers, let's dive in. The Palate drinks like a luxury boozy milkshake. You know those high, convoluted, way too many things going on kind of milkshakes, but they're really decadent, really enjoyable. It's kind of like this guy. The toasted wood sugars do not hide themselves from this pour. It's got a lot of kind of fresh rickhouse feelings here, rickhouse vibes going on. Creamy, deep fruitiness, but it still has kind of a sweeping nuttiness on the palate. Let's quickly make some notes as comparison to previous pours. Going back to the High Angel Share, I don't think I realized how much banana was actually in the High Angel Share. Similarly, even though it had a little bit higher proof, I don't think I realized that it left a little bit of a thinness on the palate. The High Angel Share though, you also feel the bite, whether it's a mix of citrus or just kind of noticing the proof of the alcohol, it definitely has a little bit more sting to it. Now let's move over to the Whiskey Row Fire. I feel like the Whiskey Row Fire has more bite to the nose, a little bit more sharpness, maybe more citrus come out in the nose, but it's this very deep, very robust, kind of dark chocolate, coffee, toasty profile. This one is a little bit different than both those. I don't think you notice the banana as much as the High Angel Share or maybe some of the other releases, but it's not as hefty or as dark as the Whiskey Row Fire was. I really just keep coming back to this nose. There's something about it that's almost a little perfumed that it reminds me of some of the older released bottled in bond products, but it's nowhere near as perfumed. So don't get that confused. It doesn't have that potpourri, but there's something about it that is a little nuanced, perfumed, fragrant, that comes out more the longer it sits open in the glass. It's really welcomed. I feel that I would say this has the flavor that I have noticed in President's Choice without all the heat. This notices flavors that are pushing towards King of Kentucky kind of territory without the extreme heaviness, extreme proof, and honestly a little tamed down in the fruitiness too. It's pretty balanced with emphasis on the age and the sugary toasted sweetness, the toasted sugars as the sweetness here, complemented by fruit layers. I don't want it to come off sounding like it isn't complex and it isn't all that crazy on the palate. That said, I think there's maybe more going on to the nose than there is in the palate, but that still doesn't stop this from probably being my favorite of the 117s that have released so far. There's just something about it, that nice sweetness combined with the oak that just sits in a profile that I really enjoy. I don't feel like it drinks under proof here. I don't think it drinks above proof here. It just drinks really nice at the 100 proof. Really solid product here in the 117 series with this bottled in bond. And I'm really loving the kind of brighter fruits, a little bit of tannin that sit on the tongue the longer it sips. Man, this is just a really solid pour. I don't think you will get as much craziness on the palate, but it's going to be concentrated, it's going to be focused, it's going to be really enjoyable. And if you like the things that I mentioned about it, just might be interested in this particular bottle from the 117 series. That is the Old Forester 117 bottled in bond. Let me know if you all have any questions. Let me know if you've tried this 117 bottled in bond or what your favorite has been in the 117 series so far. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another video. Let me know if there's something specific you want to hear me talk about in my next video or upcoming videos. I'd love to know that I'm able to bring out content that you're interested in hearing about. Till next time, everybody, we'll see you all later.